The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericaempowerment.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
It's time to get your business in gear. Do you feel that sometimes you're in the right industry, but you're not attracting the right clients? Well, let's figure it out intimately with Tammeron is a 1-hour show presenting you with simple and basic tips to help you create a more intimate, fulfilling business and personal life. Now, here's your host, Tammeron.
Welcome to this fun-filled interactive hour with me, Tammeron. I've created this show to provide you, my listeners, with some of the top experts in the world who can help us all create more fun, passion, and intimacy back into our personal and professional lives. And after being an entrepreneur since I was 26 years old, raising my 2 children, volunteering in my community, and privately educating myself through online courses, books, and self-development seminars, I realized that I have a huge range of knowledge to share with you. And as a motivational business speaker, my passion is to share my intimate stories, and it allows me to work authentically with other people in their business. I also realize that I attract people just like me who are a divine mirror of my own life. Entrepreneurs who are trying to find that healthy balance in their life. People who are visionaries, passionate, and highly creative in nature. And there are ups and downs to having all this amazing energy that swirls around us. We tend to be very creative, and we have a million ideas whipping around in our heads. We love challenges. We want to work with other like-minded people and be successful. But sometimes there are issues that come up. Things like we attract many people who want to work with us or just hang out with us. And how do we manage ourselves and our time more effectively? And how do we represent ourselves in business to show our true brand? And how do we work effectively with other entrepreneurs to create affiliates, joint ventures, or even equal partnerships? This seems to be a huge trend right now. So join me as I interview amazing guests, offer live business coaching, and give you an opportunity to hear what coaching is all about in business. Many entrepreneurs believe that their business is different than someone else's, and I agree with this statement. Yet I want everyone to understand that the reason why you are successful or not in your business is because of how you think and feel about yourself. Your business as an entrepreneur is about whom you believe yourself to be. And using this as the core of your business, I can teach and help anyone how to make their business better. If you'd like to call in or ask questions, the number is always toll-free at 1-888-346-9141. You can also email me at tammeron@figureitoutlive.com or hit the email host button here on my homepage on voiceamerica.com. So for now, sit back and enjoy as we all learn how to become more intimate in your business to understand what is really going on. This includes your personal relationships that will become better as well. What a fun way to live. So today, I'm actually speaking to all the female entrepreneurs out there. Yes, this show is geared for you ladies. Being a female entrepreneur myself, and now actually having a new business partnership with another female entrepreneur in the last couple of months, it's been really interesting. Lots of dynamics. We share a lot of the same issues. And so I'm going to be sharing some personal stories with you guys today about that. So today's show is tips for the female entrepreneurs. And so I'm really going to be giving you guys some simple skills that can boost your personal life as well as your business. I'm going to be taking information from an incredible book that I read months ago, and just thinking about today's show is like, no, I definitely had to remember to refer to this book. So we're going to be taking some quotes, some excerpts out of this book by Marianne Massad Johnson. It's called Move from Employee to CEO of Your Own Destiny. And it's a woman's guide to entrepreneurship and wealth. And it's a great little booklet. So I'm just going to be talking about a few things. And I'm going to share the personal stories around the few tips that she's going to talk about, the good and the bad. We're going to talk about how to overcome some of these common problems. And I'm sure that a lot of women are actually going to resonate with some of the things I'm going to be talking about today. And just to remember, again, if you feel like you've resonated with anything I talk about today, I will offer 10% off any of my radio listeners here from Voice America for any of my business intimacy programs, and I will offer 10%. Just let me know that you found out through the radio, and I will honor that for you. So remember to go to my website, tammeronsplace.com, to check out all the workshops and events under business intimacy. All right. So as you guys all know, I love to share tarot cards. I pull them all the time in my business. We actually have them. I've always had them in my businesses as well. They're not very, they're not put in a place where people see them. But if you do see them, we do have a lot of customers that in the past would come into my store just to pull a tarot card. And they'd always say, wow, that's just like me. Or they ask for a little bit more clarity. So we have a lot of fun where we work. And now that I've opened my tonic organic bar here with Marquetta Edwards on the weekends here in Bellefontaine, we do have a little stack of angel cards there. And we get a lot of customers pulling cards and they just love it. So we tend to attract a lot of light workers. We tend to attract a lot of people in the holistic industry as well, or people just wanting to change their life and, maybe eat better or just find out where we get our knowledge from and so on and so forth. So we're attracting very like-minded people. I just love it, the people we meet every weekend. So we're having a lot of fun here in Bellefontaine. So today's card for the show, and all you listeners, it says here, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. So I love it. As an entrepreneur, we don't want to give up. Sometimes we get so close to something. You're just on the edge of something and you're so frustrated and you're begging for something to come through. And guess what? If you just, wake up that attitude, it's like, let it be shown, or let my gifts be shown, or my knowledge. Where can my knowledge be taken to another level in my business? It will appear. And that is what I honestly believe. And I've had my ups and downs in my businesses as well. Like I said in my intro, I've been an entrepreneur since I've been 26 years old, working in a few different industries. But, being an entrepreneur, you definitely learn a lot. And you don't realize over time how many skills you actually have, what your expertise is as well, and what people keep coming back for. So those are definitely some of the things that I do share personal stories with, again, in my one-on-one workshops, so business intimacy. So we look at your life in whole, and we look at the ups and downs, and how can we take those lemons and how can we turn them into lemonade. So that is my workshop called I'm the Expert and Who Am I. We talk about your archetypes. What are your strengths in business? Are you a visionary, or are you somebody who, is, someone who needs a more strategy? Visionaries are people like me who have a lot of ideas and they can tell whether or not something is going to be successful. All right. So I tend to track a lot of those in my life. So again, we're going to be talking about this book by Marianne Massah Johnson. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you something right from the beginning. And in her book here, she really has a lot of different strategies and techniques. But I'm going to be focusing on some of the things that really are really common for a lot of women. And she talks about many different things, and these are some of the obstacles that where you can really take the adversity and change it into an achievement. And I'm going to be talking about 3 or 4 very specific ones from her book. So here we go. One of the things she says here for women: if you have this situation where you don't have enough staff or the right mix of skills to support your business. And I'm going to quote from her book for just a little bit here, and then I'm going to share some of my own stories. It says here, the right kind and mix of people to staff your business can be the difference between survival, growth, and the death of your business. First, you need to understand what positions and competencies are going to be critical to operate your business. The kinds of positions and competencies required will be determined by your industry and business model. Prioritize the positions in your company based upon their ability to either generate sales or deliver products or services to customers. In general, sales roles are some of the most critical since they have a direct bearing on your business's ability to bring in revenue. To attract the right people, you will need to understand in detail what skills, competencies, and roles and responsibilities will be required for the job. And a specific job description with a target salary range and a specific set of performance objectives is a mandatory requirement to communicate precisely what you need. You can use the newspaper, the internet, job search engines like Monster.com and Workopolis to recruit, word of mouth referral fees to existing employees who bring in new hires, and real headhunters are other means of attracting the right employees. And understanding your industry, the human resource management practices such as compensation packages and retention strategies will allow you to at least match those of your industry. If people are particularly critical to your business, you may want to pay them a little more than the market average to make sure that you retain the best people. If you are operating in the commercial sector, other compensation alternatives such as bonuses based on sales revenue, stock options, continuing education, so on and so forth, are all viable options to provide you with your potential employees. But this is what I want to focus on here. She says, be very fussy about the people you hire. Don't compromise on your standards and values. And sometimes waiting to hire exactly the right person for the job is better than hiring a close facsimile. All right, so cultivate your intuition, especially when it comes to hiring the right people. If you feel any unease or discomfort during the interview, pay attention to these signals. If doubts pop up in your mind as you are interviewing or negotiating the package with the employee, again, pay attention. These are signals you are picking up about the person that are underneath the surface. And when you do references on the prospective employee, look for at least one reference that was a previous manager or boss, or another reference that was a customer, and a third reference that is either a subordinate or a colleague. All right. So really, really important. If you do decide to make the employee an offer, make sure that you include a very specific probationary period during which there will be specific objectives to be achieved. If these objectives are not achieved, it should be clearly communicated that employment will be terminated at that time. All right. One of the hardest things you can do is fire someone. By keeping the conditions of the employment quite specific in terms of the role and responsibilities, objectives, and activities the employee will be responsible for, you will be able to determine if the employee is a keeper. All right. So really, really important there. And I want to stress a couple of things before we go into the first break is about be very fussy about the people that you hire. I know for me, when I started a business about 4 years ago, I had actually hired a woman who was here to help me get my business going because there were some things that I was unsure about when it came to equipment and getting my menu started. And so I had to find someone who had those skills. And so I had hired her to help me get my business going. And she said because she had extra experience, she felt that she could help me with some of my employees and how I was going to hire them. And so what we decided to do was to interview all the potential employees. So I'm going to share that story when I get back after this for commercial break because it was very interesting to see with both of us interviewing the same people, what had actually happened and what was the outcome from interviewing those two people together. And she had more expertise than me. All right. So I just want to remind you, this is Tammeron. You're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So stay tuned for more after the break.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
Have you ever noticed that sometimes life just feels easier, especially when judgment of you or anyone else ceases to exist? What if you could function from that space all the time? What if gratitude is the key? Every time you are grateful for someone or something, a new universe opens up. What difference can you create in your life and the world from the energy, space, and consciousness of gratitude? Join us on Access Consciousness Presents Beyond Saying Thank You every Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron. You're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So today's show is called Tips for Female Entrepreneurs. So I'm going to be sharing some little skills and some strategies, and some of the information is actually derived from this book by Marianne Massad-Johnson, Move from Employee to CEO of Your Own Destiny. And I'll be reading some excerpts from her book, but I'll be sharing some personal stories about that as well. How to get through some of these challenges, because, life is interesting. And, as you want to be an entrepreneur and, you build your business and it gets bigger and bigger, you get more people are going to be involved in your business. And so, understanding that, communication is really effective, needs to be effective, and how to deal with people, it's really, really important. So I'm going to get back to a story in just a minute. Just want to remind you, if you do want to take any of my business intimacy workshops and you've been listening to this radio show, please let me know, whether you email me or you call me direct, and I will honor that 10% discount, which in Canadian bucks, that's a discount of $110. So my workshops are one-on-one. So I will honor that. If you do want to follow me on Facebook, it's under Tammeron's Place, under the business. So there will be more events coming up here in September, October. And for right now, you can also follow me on Twitter under Tammeron's Place and my personal page, Tammeron Karam. You can also find all these links to all these places to follow me on my host page here on Voice America. So all the links are at the bottom of the page. All right, so let's get back. We talked about, really... being fussy about the people that you hire. That's what she talks about here. When you're looking for staff, you don't have enough staff, and it's really crucial that you get these people to help you run your business so you can get your business to the next level. I was sharing the fact that I had hired someone to help me start my business 4 years ago, when I was offering a all organic, raw, vegan takeout center here in Bellefontaine. It was quite a large area, and I needed someone to really help me get my kitchen up and running, get my menu started, how to price things, where to get all the equipment, because that was just something I didn't have the expertise on. So I hired someone that had more experience, and she also told me that she would help me to get my staff and interview people, and she felt she had some questions and some skills to use. So I said, great, But I also had my own skills. I was an ex-private investigator, and many years ago, actually, companies would hire us to if they were looking for potential employees to do what they would call a resume check. So basically everything they put on their resume, they wanted to know if it was real or not. So we'd have to call up all the references. We'd call up the people where they said they worked, and we'd find out a lot of information. Sometimes everything was real, and there were a lot of times there was a lot of false information that were actually put on people's resumes. So times may be different now, but even back then, people just, they weren't who they say they were. So, it's really important to understand this when you're hiring. Sometimes people are looking for a job and, they may need the job out of desperation and they're willing to say whatever it is. So, you really got to trust your intuition. So this time, 4 years ago, I had these skills behind me, and I really trusted my intuition when it came to people skills and communication. And so we decided to put it out there that we were hiring. We needed about 4 or 5 different people with different skill sets. So we were looking for people to work in the retail, and because the business was new, we weren't able to offer much more than just a basic level of income, minimum wage here. So we put that in our job description, and we had quite a varied number of people who were responding. It was a weekend job, we were going to be open on the weekends, and so we were getting people of all different ages and different skill sets. And so the funny thing is after we interviewed everybody, we had the same questions we asked everyone. We wrote down their response, and her and I sat down after each person, and we decided whether or not we thought they would be suitable for the job. And here's the funny thing. We couldn't agree on anybody. It was interesting, the reasons why she felt these people would be good for the job and the reasons why I felt they would be good for the job. Our perception of why we felt they were going to be good were completely the opposite. And so the bottom line was, as much as I had hired this woman for her level of expertise, the bottom line, it was my business. And even though she was someone who, she did have that experience or whatever, I had to trust my gut. And so I went with who I believed was going to be best. And you know what? Sometimes you got to stand up for yourself. Sometimes you might be hiring other people that, they say this, their skills, but if your gut is telling you to do something, you got to trust it. So in business, you've got to trust your intuition. People we ended up hiring ended up being awesome employees. Out of all the people that I hired here, there was only one person who my gut told me initially that it may not have been a good match. And after 2 days of having the person on the job, I literally had to let them go. It was like, you know what? Things were happening. And I wasn't liking what I was seeing. And so before matters got really bad, and like she said in her book, sometimes you've just got to, you can't keep people on if you're thinking that it's just going to get better and you're not seeing the results that you need. You've got to be willing to let them go. And it's not a nice conversation that you have to have with someone, but you know what? Sometimes you got to do it. So trust your intuition. That's really what I want to stress here. And that is, and sometimes you can find ways to, check up on people or potential employees. I mean, everything should be legal or whatever. And I like how she talked about here, check their references and different kind of references. She said basically the reason why she's telling you to choose someone that was a manager or boss is because, is that person okay with taking orders and maybe taking good criticism? Or, and are they the opposite? How are they around other people who were subordinate around them? Are they too bossy, or do they treat people as equals? So it was really interesting to see she wrote that, because I never would have thought of that. So, that's really awesome. So again, that information is from Marianne Massad Johnson's book, Move from Employee to CEO of Your Own Destiny. All right, so that was good information there that she shared. What I'm going to share next is what she talks about on a very similar aspect of it, but in a different part of the book here. She talks about, that's what I want to talk about next, What do you do if you have too much work coupled with too many responsibilities or instability in your home? Okay, this is really common for women. And the reason why is because a lot of women, may have been stay-at-home moms, or they may have been home with their children for a while, or maybe not. Maybe there are some people out there who, just haven't had children. They've always been out in the workforce. But a lot of women are wanting to be entrepreneurs. And so it's a mind shift to go from, being stay-at-home and not getting paid for what you do. I mean, that comes back to you later in life when your kids are off and you see how well developed your children are and you're proud of them, just like I am with my kids. My kids are going off to school. It's a great feeling knowing that, you had the ability and the time and the money to be home with your kids. But for some people, that's not possible. And so women are out in the workforce. They could be also single mothers. And so it's quite the juggle for a lot of these women to actually get out there. And so how do you do it all? Well, she says here, women who do too much, women entrepreneurs, do we have a genetic predisposition for the disease to please? Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, this is very true. How do you work against your natural inclinations, especially those that feel so right, like doing everything and doing it perfectly? The answer is learn to prioritize and delegate. What are your priorities? How does your family rank up there with your ambition and desire to achieve your goals? No one can tell you what to focus on or where to place more of your energy. What everyone can agree upon, however, is the need for balance in all aspects of your life. If your family is happy and healthy, chances are you will be better able to focus upon your business and vice versa. If you're trying to do everything at home and trying to do everything at work, everything will suffer, especially you. I recently came across the case of a smart and successful CEO who runs a major beverage manufacturing company. Her responsibilities in the business were considerable. Her responsibilities at home were considerable as well. She had a very ill member of her family to take care of, and she refused to get nursing care or housing assistance. She insisted on caring for her ill family member herself and sharing housekeeping duties for her 8,000 square foot mansion with her children. Ask yourself, how could any member of her family benefit from her inability to delegate any of her responsibilities? Money was not the issue. Her inability to trust others with the delegation of her responsibilities was the root of the problem. Her health suffered, she looked haggard, and was exhausted all the time. Ultimately, she could not give the best of herself to her business or her family. The result was a lose-lose all around, especially for her. Make sure to delegate responsibilities at home. If you have a heavy load in your business, for example, get help with the housework, cooking, and childcare. Hire permanent or temporary help in the areas. If you can't afford it, hire a full-time nanny, cook, or housekeeper. You will be able to come home and enjoy your children and have the energy to play with them and give them your all. You can't do that if you're coming home from the office late, rushing to fix dinner and cleaning the house. What about your spouse or partner? Doesn't he deserve a relaxed and happy wife who was fulfilled by her family and her business? And when you focus your energy on the things that count, the effect of your focus multiplies. Your husband becomes happier and more supportive. Your children become well-adjusted and feel secure, and your business gets your undivided attention when you are there. Win, win, and win. And this is the name of the game. Don't be a martyr. Don't be a saint. Just be a happy, fulfilled woman who loves herself and her family so much that she organizes her time where it best serves everyone's interests, including her own. Internal obstacles are to be found in the battlefield of the mind, and these are the most difficult obstacles to overcome. Yes, this is because the war that must be won is the one of your psyche. Our perceptions can hinder us. The problem is that we don't necessarily digest these perceptions the way we should, and that is, we believe our perceptions, especially negative ones, and end up actualizing our worst fears. Okay? So I'm going to share a personal story when we get back after this next break, and what you need to do in order to really get that healthy balance. Okay, so just remember, this is Tammeron. You're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So stay tuned for more after the break.
Have you friended us on Facebook yet?
Why not?
Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for the keywords Voice America. Once you are part of our Facebook network, you'll receive daily messages about what's happening with our shows, this week's featured guests, and new happenings at the Voice America Talk Radio Network. And you can add your voice to the always active discussions on our timeline. Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for Voice America.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So today I just want to remind you we are sharing some information from the book Move from Employee to CEO of Your Own Destiny, a book by Marianne Massad Johnson. A great tip she's got. So I'm reading a little bit of information from her book, and I'm sharing some personal stories as well because I see this a lot. And being a female entrepreneur myself, I can relate to pretty much everything she talks about in this book. It was probably one of the better books I've ever read. And someone actually sent it to me as a gift and said, oh my God, I read this and totally thought of you. So I just love to pass down knowledge. So this last little bit I was sharing before the break where she talks about in the book too much work coupled with too many responsibilities or instability at home. This can be huge. And really, to just sort of put this in a nutshell, if you're going crazy trying to do everything yourself and, be the perfect employee and be the perfect business partner or, just work in your business or whatever, sooner or later something's going to suffer. And a lot of times it's you. It's the person who is trying to do it all, and your health might suffer. And unfortunately, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And so it really is important to really work on that. And a lot of the stuff that you need to work on is emotional. And that's what she's really talking about in this little section of the book here is that, you got to learn to let go. And it's true because one of the biggest fears as a mother, I can speak for myself, is, we feel called to be at home, to be raising our children, to be the caregivers. And yet we have this desire to do something in the world and not just be a stay-at-home mom. As beautiful as it is, sometimes we just feel called to use our knowledge. We need to be social. It's very hard to be at home, especially for me. I understand I lived in a small community. I wound up volunteering in my community so just I could have an adult conversation with someone. I lived out in the country and it was pretty quiet out there. So as much as I love the quietness of it and the calmness or whatever, you need that, because it's hard to have the, little baby talk conversations all day long with your children. So when you get out into the workforce, or if you decided to start working, how do you balance it? And the truth is, you got to be ready at some point to let go of something. And she says here, be willing to have someone to come in and clean your house. I know that's tough. The first time I hired someone who was a cleaning lady, you got people creeping around in your house, and they're looking at everything you own. They're touching everything you own. They're moving things around. My first cleaning lady, she used to come in and she would rearrange the same things every single time she came in. And after she left, I'd have to walk around. I'd put everything back. And I finally had to say to her, look, I know you're here to clean it. And I know you think it looks better the way you're leaving it. But you know what? Just put it back the way I had it. This is how it functions better in my home. And just leave things alone. I hire you to clean, not to think that you're an interior decorator or whatever it was. So you got to learn how to speak up for yourself. Again, there might be things that you don't want cleaned. Some people want to come in and they want to do your laundry and they want to clean your sheets and they want to do it all. And it's like, no, just hire people for what you want them to do. I hire cleaning ladies or even cleaning people to come in because I can't stand vacuuming and washing floors and scrubbing bathrooms. I do it if I have to in my business because it's part of my job. But when it comes to my own personal home, I'd rather pay somebody to do it. And so these are things that, I had to do when it was tough starting out, having our first home. But after a while, if you're bringing in the bacon, hire a cleaning person, because to be honest, people that love to clean, they're anal about cleaning. They're probably going to clean it better than you. They love to take things apart and scrub things, and, they like to clean. So you know what? Let them be happy and you'll be happy too. So there is a process you got to go through. Sometimes, you got to find the right people to come in. Sometimes it's great if you find cleaning companies. They're bonded, so, nothing will go missing or whatever. So people are a little bit more responsible. And also when you've got people coming into your house, sometimes if they're a team, they're in and out of there faster, which is awesome. And that's what I like, people that come in and there's 2 or 3 of them, because they can literally be in and out of your house in a couple of hours and you don't feel like you've got to stay at the house for a long period of time. It could be during the day, but sometimes they come early evening as well, or sometimes really early in the morning. So, you got to find what works for you and go out there and refer and ask people and see who, who does what. Pretty much you're going to be paying about the same price range. It's just that, whether or not they bring in their own cleaning supplies. So make sure, even if they do, these are products that you would use in your own home. I am not a big fan of bleach and, harsh chemicals. So I really don't like cleaning people who come in with all their harsh chemicals. I say just use mine. Okay, they're environmentally friendly. Again, stand up for yourself and stand up for what you want. Once you start doing it, it's going to be awesome. And yeah, you might have to get some daycare and some other people as well. But again, use referral. Use people that you know and trust and find out who they use. Again, this is the part of letting go. It's the part of opening up your life to something more. Okay, and you can pick and choose. It doesn't always have to be what other people say. So people need to understand that. It's not, things aren't set in stone, and that's one of the biggest fears that women have, is they think everything has to be a certain way. So yes, it's difficult at first, but you know what? After a while, you will relish the thought of coming home after a long day of work and looking around your house and seeing everything looking clean all at once. You know how sometimes you clean your house and you're in one part of the house and you've just cleaned it and somebody's making a mess in the area you've just cleaned? So it's actually kind of nice just to walk in and know it's all done. Okay, it's a great feeling and you didn't have to do it. So some great stuff there. So again, it really does help out. And this whole mindset of having to let go will make you a happier person, and then you can actually enjoy yourself a little bit more and maybe have some time off to go and spend times with your friends or your partner, or even get a date. I know for me, another quick story here is, when I was running my business, and I had a few properties as well. So I wasn't just running the business, I was managing different properties and had to worry about, either cutting the grass or finding people to cut the grass or whatever. I was doing it all. And I was exhausted at the end of the day. And who wanted to date me? Absolutely nobody, because I only had 2 or 3 hours to do something, which isn't a lot of time to do anything, even if you are going out and doing something for fun. And I always had to be up early and home at a half decent hour. So you know what? That really does put a damper on your social life, let me tell you. So now I've learned to balance things out and to learn to let things go. And again, I'm going through that phase in my life again as well. Big changes coming up and realizing it's time to simplify my business, keep things simple, and have more time for me and to enjoy more of the fruits of my labor. All right. So again, it's difficult for women. I know guys look at this and go, what's the problem? But you know what? To be honest, for women, this is huge. Very, very huge. Okay. So if you do find you really can't let go, then I would suggest a 90-minute consultation with me, and let's find out where the fear really stems from. And that's what I talk about with people in a 90-minute consultation, is usually an emotional issue that people have. They come with a problem, but we get to the root of the problem. So if you do want to check out that information, go to my website, tammeronsplace.com, and you can book an appointment with me, or you can email me through there as well to find out more. Okay? So the next thing she talks about that I really just want to touch today a little bit, and I won't get into too much detail. We'll talk about it a little bit more now and again a little bit after the break, is she says here, poor money management resulting in a poor cash flow, spending money faster than you can make it, and bad credit ratings. It is questionable as to whether this is an internal or external obstacle. It's actually a little bit of both. Poor cash flow can be due to many reasons: poor sales, slow turnaround on accounts receivable, an insufficient line of credit to cover slow accounts receivable. If poor sales are the reason for your poor cash flow, you need to immediately look at ways to beef up your sales. If it's a question of effort and focus, put some elbow grease into it. If there are other issues such as poor market adoption to your product, are you looking for a product position problem, not a sales problem? If your accounts receivable are taking too long to collect, focus more energy on collecting them. Get someone or do it yourself. Call your customer and very politely insist on getting paid. Offer to pick up the check if need be. Explain how important it is for you to be paid on time. Help them to understand that not being paid on time compromises your business and your ability to pay your employees on time. If your line of credit is insufficient, you must approach your bank for more help. You may have to sign a personal guarantee or put a lien on your home to get a sizable line of credit. Another option is to time your payments with your accounts receivable. You might be able to pay employees as contractors and compensate them on a monthly basis instead of on a bi-weekly basis. If overspending is your problem, then you are in major trouble. Most people's assumption when they overspend is the cash will continually come in to keep paying the bills. You might be very lucky for a while, but eventually the normal business cycles that every business will affect yours. Inevitably, your business will slow down in response to economics or changes in the customer behavior or a host of other reasons. When that happens, overspending, that is using more cash than you have or leaving little cash reserves or capital in your business, will become your greatest obstacle to success. So for businesses that are successful, overspending is often the single reason that companies like this go belly up. Calculate how much you need to run your business and what kind of reserves you need to keep at it properly capitalized, and any cash above this level can be used for spending. But again, be careful. You still need to establish personal reserves in addition to those you have established for your business. I would advise no less than 1 year's salary to be set aside for an emergency, or at the very least. So any cash you have over and above should be spent with pleasure, but you should put away at least 10% or more for investment purposes as well. Again, she'll get into that in later detail in the book. So this is really crucial. You know, you've got to pay attention to the money coming in and going out. And I personally have great experience with this, where now in my new business partnership, we look at the money constantly and we sit down and we decide, you know, where we're going to spend our money, and we make adjustments. Yeah, we may have had ideas in the beginning of how we're going to do things, but we find other ways to do things so that our expenses are not getting too out of hand. And so we try to keep everything to a minimum, really understand where we're making our profit. You've got to understand, you know, the variables of, where the profit margin is and where you can give things away for free when you have to charge full price. So if your friends come in to visit or family, what do you give if you want to give a little bit of something? Okay, understand it, not just give away anything and everything. It's important to your business, okay? And I learned this. Now I go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. So now you can pass that knowledge down to people. All right, so it really is important, that bottom line, because you're in business to make money, not to be everybody's friend, okay? Big lesson that I learned myself as well. Okay, so I'm at my last break. Just want to remind you, this is Tammeron. You're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on Voice America. So stay tuned for more after the break.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
When you make decisions, do you ever find yourself in doubt? Are you trying to figure out what's right with you? Are you ready to truly change your life? Listen for the Access Consciousness radio show with the founders of Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Here. Consciousness is all about including everything and judging nothing. Our program will help you break free from your personal limitations and enhance positive change in all areas of your life. Tune in to Access Consciousness, Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Voice America Empowerment.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron. You're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here. So today we're talking to the female entrepreneurs out there. We got some tips for you guys. And, running a new business can be tough at first, but, learning some of these simple skills can really boost your business and enhance your personal life as well. So just to remind you again, last time we've been taking information from the book Marianne Messada Johnson, Move from Employee to CEO of Your Own Destiny. It's a great little book. And just a reminder as well, if you would like to get any business coaching from me, check out my website, tammeronsplace.com, and I will offer 10% off any of my business intimacy programs or workshops. Just mention that you found me on the radio show, and that's a savings of about $110 here in Canada, so in Canadian dollars. All right, so check it out. We're going to recap some of the things I discussed with you about the show, but one more thing she does talk about is don't get discouraged. If you're resulting, or if you feel like everything's resulting in unreasonable where you get into a little bit of a depression. Okay, she says here, everything comes in cycles. We have cycles of excitement, hope, and motivation. Unfortunately, we also experience cycles of disappointment, setbacks, and uncertainty. Owning your own business is a journey of faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your customers, faith in your employees, and faith in other ways. Earlier, I mentioned that optimism is the entrepreneur's secret weapon. That has definitely been my experience. And as I researched the lives and strategies of successful entrepreneurs, I discovered that I'm not alone in this belief. Getting discouraged or worried is a normal part of the process of living. Of course, running your own business makes you more likely to feel attached to the outcome of everything that touches your business success. So keeping your optimism alive is sometimes very difficult. It can be very easy to give in to worry and discouragement. When this happens, it is very important to know how to put things into perspective and regenerate your enthusiasm and drive. So it's true, I did have a conversation today with my business partner here with my organic bar in Bellefontaine. And, sometimes when we feel like, things aren't happening the way we wanted, I just said to her today, it's like, you know what, we got to go deeper. We've got to sit down and we've got to get more of a plan in place, because we've been focusing so much on the setup that now our next step is more marketing. And you know what, then even now marketing, but also to have an actual plan, like where do we want to see this lead? We both have skills that we could take, and we can help other people do the same thing that we've done. We can offer consulting, all kinds of stuff. People are really fascinated how quickly we put this together, and we used our skills to really make it happen fast. And for other people, that could take years. So, we do have some information that we can share, so we can take it to another level. So it's very fascinating. And so sometimes, your intention of why you create something might end up in a result that's very, very different. It could free up your time more. You could actually work less and get paid more as well, because knowledge is something that needs to be shared. And so, when you're getting discouraged that things aren't working out a certain way that you had anticipated, you have to open your mind to what could be next. All right, because that's, for me, the way I look at, sometimes in my business intimacy workshops, I help people look at all aspects of their life to see where their gifts really are, so maybe they can actually use it to empower other people as well. All right, so a recap of some of the things that we talked about, or that I discussed today. We didn't really talk. I was here by myself. But, trust your intuition. That's what I want to recap as well, especially, when you're hiring people. We talked about that as the component of it. When you're looking for staff, or, things that are happening in your business. Intuition is really, really important. And I know there's times where I I really wish I would have listened to my gut. And it's true. Your mind might be telling you one thing. You might be really optimistic about a certain thing, but if your gut is steering you in another direction, trust it, or get a backup, or get more information, or follow up with some information. Okay, it really is important, because the more often you learn to trust it, the less often you're going to actually go against it. Okay, so important in your business, especially if you don't have a staff of people there behind you. So second, time management. That's what we talked about is, if you're really struggling to balance that time between your family and your business or whatever, I know a lot of people say, yeah, letting go and delegating is important, but you know what? One of the other aspects of it is learning to manage your time. And I've seen this a lot myself as well, where I see people struggling in their business and they lose customers, they lose clients. They don't attend things because they're not writing things down. They're not learning how to manage their time. And sometimes people aren't coming back into your business, not because of the product you sold or the service. It's because of how they were treated, or they were neglected, or you canceled too many times, or too many things went wrong. And sometimes that's a reason why people don't come back. It has nothing to do with the product or the service that you're selling. Okay, it's about that, that what happened with that customer. So it's very, very crucial. Again, she does talk a little bit as well about the money management, which we touched on that as well. So you've got to pay attention to where money is coming in and where money is going out. And for me, that was a huge lesson, where I just kept thinking that, everything would get better, and, it'd be okay. And I was letting things go too far, and I wasn't keeping track of where my money was. So now I keep track of every little penny, and I know what needs to be paid. And, if I need to put people on a schedule or something, and not to let things get so far out of hand or overwhelming that, you know, it gets to be outrageous and, you know, you get sick worrying about how you're going to pay all these people off. So you really got to understand when your money is coming in, and, you know, are you paying attention to your numbers? Are they true numbers? And are you understanding your profits and where you're making profits or where you're not? So it's really, really important as an entrepreneur to understand this. You've got to pull things apart. You've got to trust your intuition. I know when I first started my business here 4 years ago, it was just a basic question. It was just a basic math question where I knew what money I was spending on expenses to bring in product, and I knew what profit margin I was supposedly selling things at, and yet the sales were much lower. So it wasn't making sense. I knew how much money I was spending on buying the product, and then I was selling it, and I was going in the hole very fast. And so what I realized was that I had to up my prices huge, that I was doing things incorrectly. Okay, so that happened after like a couple of weeks. So, you know, you got to be smart, and you got to pay attention. So it is that time again already. So I just want to say thank you for spending the time here with me today. I know that you may have resonated with me in some way, and if you did, please feel compelled to listen again or to the recorded version, or share this show with your friends. Remember that my life is the same as yours. I'm not perfect, but I just love to share my stories of challenges, and I genuinely want us all to become successful so we can live happier and more fulfilling lifestyles. It requires courage, communication, and most of all, some fun. And no matter what we need or we feel we need, I believe it can be accomplished in a comfortable, relaxing, and a safe place, just like right here. So remember to come back again next week for another great show with me, Tammeron, on Let's Figure It Out Intimately. So cheers for now.
Thank you again for listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately. Please join Tammeron again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Let's figure it out intimately. Again.